I'm putting everything I own on the line for a prize I can't even see yet. If I'm wrong, I lose everything. But if this conviction of things not seen is real, I'm about to inherit an entire kingdom. That is the terrifying reality of faith, and Hebrews 11:1 reveals why people still choose it anyway. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, not the evidence of what is visible, not certainty created by proof, but confidence before confirmation ever arrives." Most people only move when they can predict the outcome. They trust what they can calculate, what they can touch, what they can guarantee will not fail them. Faith feels dangerous because it removes visible control. It asks you to keep walking while answers remain hidden, to believe while silence still surrounds you, and to hope when circumstances scream the opposite. The hardest part of faith is not starting. It is waiting without becoming bitter, remaining hopeful when heaven seems quiet, and trusting that silence. Abraham left everything familiar without knowing the destination. No map, no visible kingdom, only a promise spoken into uncertainty. And somehow, to outsiders, faith often appears foolish, because they cannot see what the believer sees internally. Faith sees possibility hidden inside impossibility, even when reality appears completely closed. Every believer eventually faces the same internal war. What if none of this is real? What if I sacrifice everything for nothing? And this is where faith becomes deeply personal.
Hebrews 11:1 does not define faith as emotion. It defines faith as substance, something spiritually solid before physically visible, a foundation before manifestation appears. Faith believes before evidence arrives, not after the miracle becomes obvious. Anyone can celebrate once results appear, but faith moves before certainty exists. Noah built an ark before rain ever existed publicly. People mocked him daily, but faith made him obey what others could not understand, because conviction outweighed public opinion. Sometimes hope directly contradicts visible reality. Your situation says, impossible, but faith says, not finished yet. And that tension becomes exhausting. Waiting can make people emotionally numb. Dreams begin fading quietly. Expectations weaken over time, and disappointment starts disguising itself as wisdom. Many people do not lose faith instantly. They lose it gradually through disappointment, through delayed answers, through repeated moments of invisible struggle. Scripture constantly points toward an unseen kingdom, not temporary success, not earthly comfort alone, but eternal inheritance hidden beyond visible reality. One reason people avoid faith is fear. Fear of appearing naive, fear of trusting the unseen, fear of being publicly disappointed. Faith demands surrender of total control. You cannot fully trust God while clinging to certainty. At some point, you must release what feels safe. The most dangerous moment often comes before breakthrough, when exhaustion reaches its highest point, when hope feels weakest, and when quitting suddenly feels reasonable. Hope keeps the soul alive during uncertainty. Without hope, people emotionally decay. Faith gives the heart permission to continue believing. You begin seeing yourself through promise instead of limitation, and that changes everything internally. Most faith battles happen invisibly, inside thoughts, inside fears, inside quiet moments nobody else ever witnesses. Some of God's greatest work happens unseen first. Roots develop underground before trees appear above. Preparation happens privately before elevation becomes public. Hebrews 11 celebrates endurance more than comfort. People who kept believing despite uncertainty. Faith costs comfort. It costs predictability. Sometimes it costs relationships, reputation, and security. But those who endure discover something greater. Faith costs comfort. It costs predictability. Sometimes it costs relationships, reputation, and security. But those who endure discover something greater. Hebrews 11:1 still speaks directly into modern fear. Because humanity still struggles with uncertainty, still fears disappointment, faith is not blind optimism. It is conviction anchored beyond visible reality, a spiritual certainty stronger than temporary circumstance. I'm putting everything I own on the line for a prize I can't even see yet. If I'm wrong, I lose everything. But if this conviction of things not seen is real, I'm about to inherit an entire kingdom. And thanks for watching. If you want to see the ultimate truth about faith, make sure to subscribe, because sometimes the greatest victories begin with believing before seeing.